Most photography business owners today initially try to recruit their customers with their branding. And I can see why they decide to go this way, and it's usually because they don't really know what else to do. A lot of times it's because they are intimidated with one-on-one sales. It's much easier at this level to focus on branding, but it's generally ineffective. In-person sales is generally a better way to get started because you can get valuable information with face-to-face sales. So if you look back in history and observe what today's large companies did back then, you'll notice that they all started with sales. And once their sales got to a certain level, they built their brands off the backs of their sales. They didn't start out with a brand hoping that people would buy because they had a fancy logo or a cool sounding name. They did it in reverse. They go to people to buy and then build up their brands from there. Two examples that come to mind are Coca-Cola and Apple. Nobody knew who Coke was. Nobody knew who Apple was. But now they are two of the biggest brands in the world. Sell your product first and then find out why people buy from you. Find out through needs discovery. Find out what they want and what they need. Figure out how you can provide it to them and then match their needs with your products and services. Sales conversion comes from research into your client's needs. After you have developed your market, then you can turn some of your activities toward building your brand. So what is a brand anyways? A brand is your business's identity. It's not just the name of your brand, and it's not a logo. Although those are constituent parts of your brand, they are not your brand. So let's talk about business identity. A brand is a firm distinction from other companies. If you can't be clearly distinguished from another photographer, you're what is called a generic brand. You offer generic products and you offer generic services. You don't really offer anything different from any other photographer, so you don't give people a reason to choose you except for maybe price or convenience. And that's not really the way you want to start out. Most photographers repeat the same things when trying to distinguish themselves. They talk about the quality of their product or the quality of their service. They talk about their pricing, their efficiency, and the list goes on and on and on. So don't be like most photographers. You need to find your own unique benefit and vocalize it. You want to be specific about it. And if you need help understanding it, let me pose a question to you. Why should I buy from you? Why should I buy from you? What unique benefit do you offer? People don't go to the store and buy a drill because they want to own a drill. They buy the drill because they need a hole. Like I said, people buy outcomes and not products. And I mention this here again because I really want to reinforce it. You can't hear this enough because it's absolutely true. People buy outcomes, not products or services. How will your photography benefit your client? And how will it benefit them in a way that no other photographer can provide? Many people view photography as a commoditized business. And what I mean by that is that people see one photography business as being easily interchanged with other photography businesses. That there is no benefit to choosing one over another except for maybe price or convenience, as I said before. But the sooner you realize that customers buy outcomes, the sooner you can have an advantage over all those other commoditized photography businesses. And when you finally realize this, you need to utilize it to your full potential. The next question, what unique benefit do you offer that the other guys don't? You have to immediately be able to set yourself apart from your competitors. If you can't, it's usually because you are too close to your business to see it. You either take it for granted, you've never really identified it, or you don't actually have anything that sets you apart. So if you're having some difficulties trying to figure it out, here are a few things to think about. How do you identify and fulfill the customer's needs and desires? What are the deepest needs that your customer has that aren't being fulfilled? How can you fulfill them? What kind of experience can you create that makes the customer want to do business with you? And how can you eliminate the customer's risk or even reverse the risk? Now let's talk about the concept called USP. You'll usually see this as the unique selling proposition or unique selling point. And that's kind of what it stands for. Either way, it doesn't matter. They both mean the same thing. But the USP is a rather cliched concept. So I rather look at it as the unique value proposition or UVP. It's what makes you different than everybody else, and it lies at the core of your brand. The UVP brings attention to your business and it differentiates you from your competition. But make sure that your unique value proposition is actually something that people will value. You can have a UVP that nobody wants and it doesn't do a thing for you. The best UVPs fill a perceived gap in the marketplace. Sometimes it's something that your competition isn't offering. Sometimes it's the experience that you create. Sometimes it's even creating something that doesn't already exist and that your client doesn't know they want. But once you develop it and market it, you'll see some demand for it. It's solving a problem that exists, but there is no actual or perceived solution for it. So a good UVP compels people to act because it focuses on their problems, their needs, and desires. So to wrap up this module, I want to discuss one of the most effective ways to create your brand, and that is to tell your story. Everybody has a story to tell. What is yours? It should relate directly to your business identity. Tell your client who you are, what you do, and why you do it. Tell them how you do what you do better than anyone else. Tell them why you're driven to build a successful photography business. Tell them in a way that makes them believe, and you do this by believing in yourself. People will believe in you only if you believe in yourself. People will accept you the exact way that you present yourself. Telling your story to your market helps them get to know you and your brand, and it develops a relationship with them in their mind, and it's often something that is done before you actually meet. Most importantly, your story helps them answer the question why. Why should they choose to do business with you? When all else is equal, what is it about your brand that makes them choose you?